Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Are We Free movement. This is Jamal Barnes here, and we're going to now get into the discussion of the Saudi Arabia versus the Iranians. And as you may have seen in some of my previous videos tonight, the globe has gotten more divided than ever before. In the last few days of 2016, we've seen a lot of inflammatory rhetoric. We've seen a lot of people attacking other people. And unfortunately, it's not just a U.S. issue. It is a global issue. And we're seeing it right now, the Saudis and the Iranians. Now, for some reason, both the Saudi Arabians and the Iranians just do not seem to like each other. And I know what most Americans are probably thinking. Well, why should we care? It's not our problem. We didn't cause that. But you know why I'm talking about it? Because we're just as bad as them. We're so divided to this point. Now it's like, we're just fight over any little thing. Any little thing will spark some violence these days. But anyways, I want to get into Saudi Arabia versus Iran. And some people are saying, well, there's going to be an oil price war between the Saudis and the Iranians, and it's going to be the end of the world for oil, and this is coming from big companies, out like ExxonMobil and things like that. But they're still always going to be wealthy. So people will say, well, they're wealthy. Why should we worry about it? Well, I think that what I want to showcase is something that it's a global problem. Now, in case you all haven't heard, this recent feud started because a Shiite leader in Saudi Arabia was executed, which is believed to be by the Iranians. And this, as a result, Iran has had some protests. The Saudi Arabians and Saudi Arabia, they've cut ties with Iran behind it. So, you know what the biggest problem with these countries are? And the U.S. is the exact same way. As a person from the United States, I am not by any means trying to sugarcoat the United States as this country of, we're not divided. Yeah, we are divided, just like the Iranians, just like the Saudis, just like the Middle East, just like the Chinese and Japan. We're just as bad as them as far as, this division. And what you're seeing right now is between the Saudis and the Iranians is a division that stems generation after generation after generation after generation. Any one little spark, and that's all. It's a whole bunch of chaos. So, and it's not just sectarian. It's not just a sectarian issue. Where you have the Sunnis and the Shiites. The Sunnis and the Shiites, they just haven't liked each other and I'll say centuries. They just never seem to like each other. And I don't know why. And we'll never know why. But they just can't seem to live in peace together. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of here in the United States, where we just can't. Right now, you have certain parts of the conservative movement who feel that all Muslims are terrorists, and they see someone with any hijab on, they want to attack. And that sounds like what's going on with the Saudi Arabia and Iran issue. It's like if, because the Shiite leader was from Saudi Arabia, and they believe it was an Iranian, now they want to kill all the Iranians because of the Shiite leader who was attacked. We're all we are flawed. We are a flawed people. How about instead of overgeneralizing, we actually, come together and say, well, this is the type of rhetoric that what I'm talking about. People are just not. It's very complicated. When you start getting into the Sunnis and the Shiites, kind of how it is here with the regular Americans versus the Muslims. And I'm not gonna sit there and try to go between what type of ethnicity of the Americans, because I already know what the issue is. The left versus the right, the black versus white, and now we're seeing with Saudi Arabia and Iran, the Sunni versus Shiite, with and the politicians over there, they're not seeming to come together. Saudi Arabia's cutting ties. Instead of working with Iran, they're just like, well, our Shiite leader was attacked, we're not going to work with you anymore. It's like, come on, man. Is this high school? Is this middle school where we sit here and because we don't, because somebody did something to us, we just sit there and say, oh, we're going to blame this whole country? That's all us a lot of us conservatives, we're kind of the same way. Because those two Muslims up in San Bernardino, they went up there and did that shooting, we need to ban all Muslims. Well, Saudi Arabia's acting just like us, except it's towards Iran. That's the difference. That's the only difference. But we're just as bad as they are. And that's the point I'm trying to make. We can't keep living in a society where, instead of, nobody, to me, it seems like in this country, in the world, I should say, nobody seems to want to get along with each other. Everybody is at war with everybody. And now, I mentioned oil earlier. Is it going to affect oil? I don't see that necessarily affecting oil too much, but I do see, especially for the U.S. I mean, they have a higher level of production of oil, so I don't see it affecting the U.S. too much. But I think it is going to affect those countries surrounding those borders, because the Middle East has been in so much turmoil for years, and they just have had, unfortunately, a lot of instability, a lot of protests. We've seen this in 2012. I mean, we've a lot of uprisings that have happened over there, and part of it is, but I think personally, and it's there's a lot of trouble right now in the Middle East. There's a lot of instability. Unfortunately, that's not going to change one bit, because the areas are divided. They have to come together. At some point, they're gonna say, I understand the Shiite leader our Shiite leader was attacked. However, we're not gonna blame a whole country for what some criminals from Iran did. And that's just my humble opinion. I think what they need to do is come together, kind of like how I feel about the United States. We have to, at some point, we need to come together. We can't just sit there and just it's like we're no longer, nobody wants to live in peace for some odd reason. It's got to be war. It's like, come on, man. But anyway, what do you all feel about Saudi Arabia versus the Iran thing? Do you see it as a sectarian issue, or do you see it as an oil issue? Or what do you feel about the Middle East in general? Now, of course, some of our fellow conservatives, they may see it as, well, because they're Muslims, they're just a bunch of terrorists. But that's not where I'm getting at here. What I'm getting at here is a lot. They're kind of divided. It's very unstable over that part of the region, or that part of the world, I should say. So, feel free to comment in the comment section below. Like us on Facebook, the Are We Free Movement Facebook page. Also, subscribe to our YouTube channel, the Are We Free Movement YouTube channel. I'm curious what you guys think about this issue. And also check out our previous videos from tonight. There's one more video regarding, and this one's going to be regarding some crony capitalism. And we're going to get into that a little bit in just a few moments. So thank you all very much, and have a wonderful night, everyone.